make an intro. No. Oh, God. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're talking summertime fragrances, but not just any summertime fragrances, fragrances that are addictive, and some fragrances that have a touch of power. Not all of them, just some. All of these are going to be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. I got a lot to go through, so let's jump straight into it with this very strange looking bottle right here. This one is from Rue Braca, and it's called Nexa Immortal. Yeah, Immortal. It's like a Highlander fragrance. That's before some of your times. Honestly, it was before my time too, but I know about it. You know, like there can be only one, that whole thing. The bottle's got this kind of pearlescent finish to it and almost looks like an infinity symbol that has actually been slashed, so it's no longer infinity. The fragrance itself is a cologne scent, and it smells quite similar to a fragrance you may have heard of called Greenly from Parfums de Marly. But it's not the exact same as Greenly. There's a little rebalancing that's happened, a little reshuffling. The citrus is a little more prominent in here. It's not quite as sticky sweet as Greenly can come across when you first spray it on. So a little bit fresher ever so slightly off the top, but still smells really, really good, extremely pleasant, really addictive, and actually is one of those fragrances that you have to let do the M word. That's right, you know what I'm talking about. You gotta let it macerate, mature. It has to grow up ever so slightly. It smells good off the top, it's just, it smells better after a while. And I always wonder if it's something to do with the makeup of fragrances that emulate Greenly, because this is not the first Greenly alternative that has been that way for me. So yeah, something about Greenly. You get a clone of Greenly, spray it, and smell it, and then go, oh, okay, sit it down, come back later. Let's go with one that is a dupe of something else, but is not actually a dupe brand. It's this. Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Of course, we all know, smells similar to Dior Sauvage. That's what I meant when I was saying that stuff about dupes and whatnot. It all makes sense now. So yeah, Luna Rossa Carbon smells similar to Dior Sauvage, but of course with that Prada twist to... don't spin your bottles too much. You may not spray the first time when you do that. So yeah, similar to Dior Sauvage, but not as metallic off the top, not as aggressive off the top, a little bit smoother, but it still has that essence of what makes Dior Sauvage, only it's Luna Rossa Carbon. Great performance, big compliment puller, extremely versatile. You can pull it off pretty much year round, obviously not just a summertime fragrance, and a lot of people may say, nah, it's more a spring, fall time fragrance. But it does work extremely well when it is warm outside regardless. So Luna Rossa Carbon going right there, which gets me thinking, maybe Prada should come out with a carbon flanker. And I know some people would say, nah, that's not needed, and you know, fair enough, but we've gotten Luna Rossa Ocean a few times over. What if they gave us Luna Rossa Carbon? But hear me out here, not like a flanker in the sense of doing Sauvage Eau de Parfum only with Prada stylings, and not Sauvage Elixir with Prada stylings. But what if they expanded on that Sauvage DNA styling, right? That's what Luna Rossa Carbon is, but they took it further in a different direction, I guess in the Prada direction. That could be interesting, and it could be really, really good. I don't know. I kind of would much rather see that than Luna Rossa Ocean Elixir or something, if they're gonna go the flanker route anyway. Let's talk about this one. This is Bentley Silver Lake. I don't know why I just derped when I pulled the bottle out. It's like, this is Bentley. So Silver Lake is a cheapie. You can pick this up from discounters for a good price, and it smells a little similar to a really popular fragrance out there. And I swear not all of these are like that, okay? I'm just now realizing this is the third one in a row like this. I got some stuff coming that's not similar to other things, I swear. Some more well-known ones, and some also slightly more under the radar ones here in a little bit. But again, back to this. So smells similar to Aqua de Jo, more specifically Essenza, which you know what that means. One of my favorite things. Discontinued fragrances. Yeah, that's right, that's my favorite thing. I love it, I can't hide it. It is what it is, I collect them. So anytime that you can get a fragrance that smells like something that was discontinued, only it's done really well and it's really cheap, I'm probably gonna like it. And I do here. Now, Bentley doesn't get talked about as much as it used to in the sense of inexpensive fragrances because there are so many nowadays. It used to be there weren't quite as many that were done at a high level in terms of quality, which is why like Bentley for Men Intense used to get talked about nonstop. Still really solid, by the way, but a very particular scent for a particular person. Which means Silver Lake is gonna fly under the radar ever so slightly nowadays compared to if it were released, say, 10, 15 years ago, but an absolutely fantastic choice for summertime use. Very clean, aquatic, fresh, slightly green, smells really nice. Now, as I mentioned, at discounters, very affordable, and pretty much anything I talk to you about here today is gonna be cheaper at discounters, of course. Which brings me to the codes you can use to save more money across a bunch of discounters. More specifically, 15% off at Intense Oud and also Gift Express. So a big discount at either of those stores. Make sure to check those out. Intense Oud does occasionally have cologne fragrances that you can't find easily other places. And then there's 5% off and free shipping with Maple Prime. Got 10% off at the Perfume Box, which is an amazing discounter. And then codes for JOMASHOP, which only work within their app that you can use to save a little money, as well as Max Aroma, Fragflex, and more. Let's kind of keep it on the cheaper side of things with Hugo, except it's reversed. Ogu. Hugo Reversed is a fragrance that is quite affordable. That hurt. I don't know why I did that. It smells a little bit similar in the opening to like a more youthful, cheaper take on Elysium in terms of how the citrus comes across. So citrusy, aromatic, kind of this like fizzy juniper in there. Technically it's rosemary as one of the 4 notes in there, but it does have like a juniper kind of scent profile to it, that kind of like botanical herbal vibe. So that's the kind of aromatic edge that it gives, along with grapefruit and bergamot, and then a little bit of woodiness in there, vetiver as it dries down, very fresh, very slightly dry vetiver. And for the price, roughly 25 bucks or so, very easy to wear as a day-to-day fragrance when it is hot outside. Now check this out. This is something. This is Fragrance World's Noble Red. Tell me if you see any similarities between this and maybe another fragrance out there. So Noble Red is essentially a clone of Dumont Nitro Red. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that's what it is, right? The presentation style, the name, and everything else. And it is really, really, really inexpensive. A lot of times you can find this like $15, $16 online. I mean, at the upper end, this is like maybe 25, but usually you can get it much less. And it smells really similar to Nitro Red with great performance to boot. So it's one of those scents that you can wear pretty much all day, all evening, whatever, whenever. Now, in case you're unaware of Nitro Red for any reason, it's a fragrance of the style of like Invictus, Invictus Aqua, that kind of bubblegummy sweet freshness, and then little marine undertones. And it's mixed with like a smidge, just a little sprinkle of BR540. Big compliment puller, very easy to wear, of course. The issue with that one, which not really an issue necessarily depending on where you are, but the issue is it's more expensive than this one. And depending on where you are, it can be more difficult to find than this. Because I know that Nitro Red is not readily available in all countries for like the same price that you can usually pick it up for here. But this one, sometimes you can find in lieu of that fragrance for way, way, way less, and it's gonna get you something very similar. Now, if you already own Nitro Red, do you need Noble Red? No. But it is still out there for the people who can get use out of it. Let's go next with something classier. Yeah, something a little more gentle, manly. This is Platinum Egoist from Chanel. Very different vibe from pretty much everything else that we've sprayed out here so far. Can't wait until we get smell-o-vision. I so wish that there was some way that I could spray this at you and then you could smell it. I realize that that is completely never going to happen. Now back to Platinum Egoist. Like I said, this is for the classy bros out there. This is not hyper sweet. It is not bubblegummy. It's not a more standard aquatic type of scent profile for summer. You've got lavender in here. You have geranium, clary sage, rosemary, neroli, petitgrain, oak moss, vetiver, and cedar. Great staying power, it lasts a long time, projects just well enough. It's not the type of fragrance, unless you just go ham, that's gonna cause people to have a fit. And by that, I mean have a negative reaction. It is probably going to appeal a little more to middle-aged guys and older. kind of getting back to that classy side of things. And it has a barber-shoppy overall feel. Very clean, very aromatic, extremely wearable. Well, we just talked a little Invictus here, so we're gonna have to talk it again. This is Invictus Aqua 2024, but now they have Invictus Aqua 2025. They say that the formula remains the same, but I don't know how much I trust Raban. But they have changed the bottle style on this one, so if you purchase this going forward, unless you get one of the, I guess, what you'd consider old stock Invictus Aqua? Yeah, the old stock, you know, from last year. Apparently that's how it is in fragrances now. Change it every friggin' year, I don't know. But yeah, if you get the old stock, then you'll get this style bottle. The new style bottle, which looks like this over here, has hit the gym and worked out. That's the new Invictus Aqua. But like I said, they say it remains the same. Now, Invictus Aqua is very clean, very fresh, aquatic, sweet, quite sweet. Very often referred to, as I said back here, as bubblegummy sweet. The note breakdown has been dumbed down for the current iteration and the new iteration. It is grapefruit, sea notes, and amberwood, but it does smell extremely similar to the original Invictus Aqua, which everybody absolutely loved. So that is a great positive, because now you can buy this one or the upcoming new version and get something that is extremely similar to the original version, which up until now was extremely hard to get that scent profile. Because it was very, very expensive if you could find it. Now I want to go with something completely different. This is Starwalker from Mont Blanc. Now there are a lot of Mont Blanc fragrances that could work into this list. You could put even Explorer in here. Of course, you could put Legend Spirit, which smells similar to Invictus Aqua. You could put the original Legend, Legend Blue, but Starwalker, got kind of like a little special place in my heart. It's an interesting one. It's not that type of fragrance that you're gonna spray on and expect a million different compliments, because it's filling up the room and everybody has to go smell you. That happens, right? That's realistic? Totally. So it's not that type of scent. It's not the type of scent that's gonna necessarily assault somebody with your pungent fragrance. What it will do though, is come across very cozy, very soothing, very smooth, easy to wear, approachable, and frankly, way under the radar. That, my friends, is not a best-selling fragrance. You're not gonna have to worry about too many people smelling like you. In fact, you'll probably never realistically run into somebody else that smells like that in public. Not in a negative way, I realize that sounds really bad. I realize the way I said that makes it sound like, you know, the smell of somebody who just went bobbing for turds in a public toilet. That's not what I meant. I just meant this is the type of fragrance where mainly people really into fragrances know about it. It's also pretty affordable. It's got an interesting note of bamboo off the top. Don't see that very often. It's kind of like a green, semi-sweet, aquatic scent profile when you first spray it on. A little citrus in there as well. Not really like sharp citrus. Again, pretty mellowed out. You have a nice soft ginger, some creamy woods, fizzy white musk. It has some vague similarities to Versace Man Eau Fraiche in the way that it comes across, but less like tropical beach getaway, more hanging out outside on the patio or even going to bed. I know a lot of people who actually spray this on before going to sleep. A lot of people are looking for that, right? So do that list. 10 fragrances people spray on before they go to bed. 6 people would be like, that is my list, dude. Everybody else like, who does that? Let's go with Missoni next. This is Missoni Parfum Pour Homme. Obviously, I cheaped out. I bought a tester bottle. I regret that decision every time I pull this fragrance out because I don't get a cap, and the cap for these was magnetic. No, you know me, brother. I love me a magnetic cap, dude. I mean, come on, man. Shoot, bro. Come on, dude. Keep obeying. Should have just spent the extra $3. And this is that time to say, Missoni, where are the fragrances? Missoni has not come out with a new fragrance in a minute. They came out with this one and smells great. Ultra wearable, super versatile, similar to Bleu de Chanel. So you could say it's one of those types of scents that while it is not a direct clone fragrance, it is inspired by another fragrance, much like the Bentley here. Because you can smell that inspiration when you smell this fragrance. You're like, oh, okay, I got you. Got that nice little citrusy opening, that kind of woodiness with a pop of like incense kind of wafting through there a little bit, that kind of scent profile. Even though technically they don't say that it's an incense note in this. It's like birch and oak, but birch and oak notes and fragrances have kind of like a smoky aspect to them typically. So that's where that comes from in this fragrance. So that's one of those ways you can look at the note breakdowns and be like, oh, you know, they're different here. So why is it smelling similar? Well, that's one of the reasons. Some of these notes, depending on how they're used, can actually smell similar to other things. And of course, I know that the note breakdown is not necessarily like this is exactly what's in the fragrance. That's just kind of how they're telling you to interpret the fragrance, but I digress. So when you spray this on, grapefruit, lemon, lavender, classic blue fragrance stylings right off the rip, a really nice bubbly ginger in there as well, fresh, a little bit sweet, and then that lightly smoked woodsiness as it dries down. Then there's of course Missoni Wave, which smells a little similar to Allure Homme Sport and Versace Pour Homme. Great scents, give me more, thank you very much. Now this next one is a fragrance that I love. I really like it. I have 2 bottles of this stuff. I have used it extensively, and I'm fully aware that it is not a massive hype beast, but I still really like it for summertime. It's this Boss Bottled Tonic. I even have a big size, like the 200 ml. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty good. But there is one glaring issue with Boss Bottled Tonic. Guess what it is? It's named Tonic. The fragrance is light blue. The note breakdown is mainly fresh spices, a little bit of woods and citrus. Ah, the performance, it's trash. Of course. Yeah, the performance is not great. I mean, to be fair, it is called tonic. It's not called elixir. So this is more so one of those fragrances that you spray on when you want something refreshing, something that's a little bit uplifting, something bright, a little airy. It has nice sweetness to it. A little touch of bitter orange though that helps kind of balance out that opening to keep it from going too headache-inducingly sweet for a summertime scent. The ginger is really nice. It's fresh. It has a touch of bite to it. And then the woodiness as it dries down really is kind of stripped away. You know, it's that styling of woods that doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of character outside of just going, oh, yeah, it's like a modern, clean wood. And I guess it makes some sense that I would really enjoy this because it has some similarities, again, to Starwalker in the sense of how it comes across. A little bit classy, at least for a fresher type scent. That's not trying to scream, it's not trying to get a ton of attention. It is more subtle, but it does smell so good while you can smell it. Let's go next with another blue bottle. This one is from Zamaya and it's called Massage Infused. Massage. So we're back into clone territory with this release, and this one smells like Imagination from Louis Vuitton, but with a definite twist. So you get that citrus off the top, much in a similar fashion to how Imagination opens up. A little bit tart and fresh, not overtly sweet, maybe even the faintest hint of like bitter green along the edges from Neroli. Once again, with ginger in there, it's a note that I absolutely adore for summertime fragrances, and some woods as it dries down. Now, this one does kind of take its own path a little bit compared to Imagination. It's not the exact same. This one has more of a soapiness to it, like a clean, soapy aspect that the original does not have as much of. And for sub $30, it is an amazing buy. Performance also pretty good for this type of scent. Performance on this one maybe not quite as good though. Dior Homme Cologne. I do love Dior Homme Cologne. I think it smells so nice, but it does suffer from the same issue that like Boss Bottled Tonic does and Starwalker. It does not scream, but it does make itself known. If you spray on enough of it as you move around, this is one of those ones that can kind of sneak up on you throughout the day. You'll think it's gone and then it won't be. Really icy, fresh opening, kind of compared very often, I should say, to lemonade, like an iced lemonade. Technically, I think grapefruit blossom is one of the notes in there, musky as it dries down, a very clean muskiness though. There are some cheaper alternatives that you can get that are kind of in the same wheelhouse as Dior Homme Cologne, stuff like Jimmy Choo Man Ice. But if you can pony up the cash, Dior Homme Cologne is one of those scents that absolutely crushes when it's really, really hot outside. It's one of the few fragrances that I have that when I spray it on, it immediately makes me feel a little bit cooler, at least as much as it can trick my brain. We got Armaf. This is Odyssey Lemony Fresh. edition. So we're getting really citrusy with this one, in case you couldn't tell by the name and kind of the color scheme going on here. Lemon, orange, bergamot, all of those making themselves known as soon as you spray this on. And you're never gonna guess, but there is ginger in here again. I'm telling you guys, if for any reason you've never paid attention to that, go look through how many fragrances that you really enjoy that make use of citrus have ginger along with that citrus. That combo, undefeated. Also orange blossom in here, aquatic notes, and tea. And it does have a little similarity to Louis Vuitton, once again. Somewhat, but not like super close to being a one-to-one. It's a little similar to Afternoon Swim, but with a twist, you could say. The citrus here, a little bit more on the sweet side as compared to like the sharp, rindy side. It actually doesn't really have any rindiness to me at all. Maybe like the tiniest touch, but not enough to write home about, not enough to care. And it has that balance once again with tea in here, which makes it a little bit more interesting, gives it a little more happening as it dries down. Let's talk next about Hero. This is from Halloween Man Hero. Halloween Hero Man. Hero Man Halloween. This one you can find for touching 30, about 30 bucks, depending on where you're looking. Some places it's gonna be a little bit more. Goes without saying, it does have ginger and citrus again. Yes, it does. There's also aquatic notes in here. There is lavender. You have amber, extreme, cashmeran, sage, and patchouli as it dries down. And it's a little bit similar to Invictus Aqua, but not this Invictus Aqua, no. The second iteration of Invictus Aqua, which looks like this bottle right here, not this bottle, okay? So it's a salty marine type fragrance with a little touch of bubblegum sweetness, but also aromatics in there as well. And also little bits of fresh spice. So it's a great fragrance for maybe a younger guy looking for something that smells great, that's a compliment puller, extremely versatile on the cheap, or also great for somebody who wants a fragrance bottle that looks kind of like a bomb pop, or one of those suckers, one of those like cone-shaped suckers that, you know, had like different, did I say shuckers? That has different colors as it moves up. Yeah, kind of like that. And we're gonna finish things off with this. This is Boss Bottled, the new one. That's what it's called, right? Bold Citrus. Yes, I do have two BBs in this, Boss Bottled. So this is the new limited edition. And interestingly enough, you know, they've got a 200 ml size of this that I saw on Macy's, and they were like clearancing it, essentially. I guess technically it was a sale, but it was like 119 or something, like for the largest size bottle. So the largest size bottle was actually cheaper than the 100 ml size bottle, because the 100 ml, they had just normal price. Citrus smells really good here, has a little touch of rindiness to it, which I love. I know some people don't, but I like that. I like to get that little balance, that sour and sweet in there at the same time. Makes it more interesting. Lemon and bergamot are the citrus notes that are officially in here off the top. You also got geranium in here, vetiver as it dries down. Perfect for spring and summer, more of a daytime scent than an evening scent. The only drawback with this one really is it is a limited edition, which means it's probably not gonna be available that much longer. Hugo Boss is one of those companies that if they say limited edition, they usually actually mean it. Because there are some companies that say limited edition, and then like 6 years later, it's still readily available. So is it really? But Hugo Boss, they kill their stuff off like psychos. That'll do it for me, guys. 15 fragrances that are really addictive, but also gonna scratch that freshness itch for you through the warmer months. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.